Gabriel Daniel Fernandez was born on February 20th, 2005, to Arnold Contreras and Pearl Fernandez. Shortly after birth, Gabriel was put in the custody of his great-uncle on his mother's side, Michael Lemos Carranza, and his partner David Martinez. They continued to raise Gabriel for 4 years. In 2009, 4-year-old Gabriel moved in with his grandparents due to his grandfather's objection to Carranza's and Martinez's same relationship. He lived with his grandparents until 2012, when his mother, Pearl Fernandez, and her boyfriend, Isoro Aguirre, regained physical custody of him despite concerns for his welfare expressed by the family. One day, he came to class with chunks of his hair missing. Another day, Gabriel Fernandez appeared with an injured lip and told Garcia that his mom had punched him. And in January 2013, he showed up with round bruises on his face and admitted to Garcia that his mom had shot him with a BB gun. After school that day, Garcia called a child abuse hotline, which put her in touch with a caseworker named Stephanie Rodriguez. Although Garcia initially felt reassured, the abuse of Gabriel Fernandez seemed to continue. Garcia continually reached out to Rodriguez, but the caseworker said that she couldn't discuss the details of Gabriel's case. Rodriguez had, in fact, visited the Fernandez home, but Gabriel often recanted his stories, and Rodriguez noted that the children at the residence seemed appropriately dressed, visibly healthy, and did not have any marks or bruises. Sadly, his abuse was actually much worse than Rodriguez or even Garcia seemed to realize. And in May 2013, Gabriel Fernandez's mom and her boyfriend would brutally beat the 8-year-old to death. On May 22, 2013, Pearl Fernandez called 911 to report that her child, Gabriel Fernandez, was not breathing. Fernandez had been fatally beaten by his mother and Aguirre after failing to clean up his toys. When first responders arrived, they found him on the ground, naked with several injuries. Aguirre initially said to them that Fernandez was gay. Paramedics arrived and found the boy with broken ribs, a fractured skull, missing teeth, and BB pellet wounds on his body. "I tried to feel his heart," Pearl Fernandez's boyfriend Isoro Aguirre said. It later came out that Pearl Fernandez and Isoro Aguirre had tortured the 8-year-old with a BB gun, pepper spray, coat hangers, and a baseball bat. Gabriel Fernandez died 2 days later of his injuries on May 24, 2013. And then, in the months following, the shocking depth of his abuse. The Atlantic reports that Gabriel Fernandez routinely suffered severe abuse at the hands of his mom and Aguirre. This happened over the course of 8 months. Sometimes, they stuffed a sock in his mouth and bound his hands and ankles, then locked him in a cabinet they called the cubby. They called him gay, possibly because he had previously been raised by a gay great-uncle, punished him whenever they saw him playing with dolls, and forced him to wear dresses. According to Gabriel's siblings, Ezekiel and Virginia, the couple also made him eat a lot of cat feces, forced him to run from a BB gun, and hit him so hard that he couldn't breathe. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital where doctors declared him brain dead. He died 2 days later on May 24, 2013, at the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. He died at the age of 8 years old, and the official autopsy declared he died of blunt force trauma that coincided with neglect and malnutrition. In addition, Gabriel's therapist had reported before his death that the boy had been forced to perform oral S*X on a relative and that he'd written notes saying that he wanted to K*LL himself. But despite the many warning signs, he was tragically never rescued. In the aftermath of Gabriel Fernandez's death, both Pearl Fernandez and Isoro Aguirre were arrested and charged with the boy's murder. Pearl pled guilty to first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. "I want to say I'm sorry to my family for what I did," Pearl Fernandez said in court in 2018, according to the Los Angeles Times. "I wish Gabriel was alive. Every day I wish that I'd made better choices. I'm sorry to my children, and I want them to know that I love them." The judge, however, didn't mince words. According to the rap, he said that Gabriel's death had been so horrific that he'd almost call it animalistic, except animals know how to take care of their young. Aguirre was also found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to death. Currently, however, California has suspended all capital punishment, so Aguirre remains in prison for the foreseeable future. In Gabriel's case, The 4 caseworkers who were supposed to look out for him faced criminal charges after they were fired, a rare turn of events for caseworkers who are not typically charged for failing to prevent abuse. Rodriguez and Patricia Clement, another social worker, along with their supervisors, Gregory Merritt and Kevin Bom, were charged with felony counts of child abuse and falsifying public records. An appellate panel ruled in January 2020 that the workers should not face criminal charges in Gabriel's death. The social workers were accused of minimizing the evidence that Gabriel was abused and of falsely reporting that safety programs for Gabriel were working, when the abuse was only worsening, the documentary shows. Knappenberger says that as he further investigated the story, he came to believe the workers had made clear mistakes. Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. All your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. Thank you for watching. God bless.